Hey everybody, welcome to our Monday night call. Tonight, Chris Holtzclaw and I wanted to share with you guys a personal growth topic that has been on our hearts, and that is the topic of self-discipline. So sometimes when you are doing your personal growth, you come to the realization that there's something that you really need to work on, and then you get excited and you want to share with everybody else. So just know that the reason why we're sharing these things with you tonight, it's not because we have mastered this ourselves, but it is something that we really would like to work on and improve on, and we've learned a lot about, so we are going to share with you because we think it will help you. Not because we're experts on it or because we are really good at it, because like I said, we're both homeschooling moms. And so sometimes we struggle with the discipline thing, but it is really important if you want to be successful in any area of your life, not just with business, but with your health, with your finances, with your relationships. It's all interconnected, especially anytime you're talking about personal growth issues. So we want to talk about self-discipline, and really we just boiled it down to three main parts: hard work, consistency, and grit. And so Chris is going to start us off by talking about hard work and what she has learned along her Plexus journey. Go ahead, Chris.
Yes, I would love to share. Thanks, Brittany. So it took me about a little over a year to get from senior gold to ruby. And about 6 months into that decision I made to rank up, I had kind of lost sight of things, and I just kind of was feeding myself with things that I thought were going to be motivating for me. And so I would watch these videos, right? I would watch all the videos. I would do all the things that I thought, were productive things. And I was doing all the Plexus things all day long, but none of these things were actually things that were going to grow my business. I was spending a whole lot of time trying to motivate myself, but not really realizing, even though I knew and I had heard this before, not really realizing that there's no such thing as motivation getting the job done. It all boils down to hard work. We have to have a work ethic. And in our line of work, it's way different than the work ethic you have to have out in the regular 9-to-5 job. With your 9-to-5 job, you have to get up, leave your house, go to the workplace, do the things while you're at the workplace. People see you doing it, and maybe they don't, but what you do ends up producing results. And at the end of the day, the company benefits, the company notices that they're not benefiting from you, then obviously they're going to let you go. So you have that, in a sense, accountability to your career, your job. When you work from home and you're doing this network marketing thing, you don't have that accountability. You have to be accountable to yourself. So at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, sure, I don't have the accountability in the sense that someone's going to fire me, and sure, maybe this is comfortable for me to just do the things that are easy. But at the end of the day, if I haven't done the things that are going to benefit my family, I haven't held myself accountable. And so that's what's really important, is just remembering too that a lot of times what holds us back from the hard work is because this thing makes us vulnerable. Reaching out to people every day makes us feel vulnerable. And so we actually get familiar with doing the things that are easy, and it's just what we like to call more comfortable. But in all actuality, what is more comfortable? Is it more comfortable to not reach out to people and watch your bank account suffer every day and your family have these limitations that you're never going to be able to overcome? Or is it more comfortable to reach out, risk things maybe, and do this thing for your family and watch what happens and the blessings that are in store for you? And so what I would say is, if you're that girl that's afraid to talk to people, this is something I actually learned at Ruby Retreat. I sat at Ruby Retreat, and we had to do these interactive questions with people. And the first question that they asked, I literally sat there in my seat because it was uncomfortable for me to get up and go talk to a stranger. But what I found was, I didn't want to be that girl anymore. I wanted to do the things that were maybe more uncomfortable. To me, there's no such thing as being comfortable, but it is familiar. It's familiar to sit there and be uncomfortable, but it's not comfortable. That's why people shouldn't say comfort zone. What was probably a little more uncomfortable was making myself that second round get up and go talk to the people and ask the questions. But what ended up happening was, there's something really great. I grew and I was able to learn from that experience, and I took away some things from those conversations with those people. So if you're that girl that kind of like hides away and ducks and covers her head and hurries to her seat and doesn't want to talk to anybody, you've got to stop doing that, because you're telling yourself you're in your comfort zone, but it's completely uncomfortable. So you can either step back and not say anything and not be part of anything and not do the hard work that it takes, or you can propel yourself forward into what feels uncomfortable in a different way and get the benefits from it. And then motivation is important, but it's discipline that gets you there. So you need to be watching videos. That is important. That's not something that you shouldn't be doing. But if you're spending all your day watching the videos, learning from the people, but not doing the things, then that discipline isn't going to follow through. You're not going to end up having that accountability to yourself. You're not going to end up doing the hard work, the things that make you vulnerable, and you're going to end up not growing your bank account. Like, the whole point of working this business is to be able to create financial freedom and change lives. And you can't do that if you're sitting there behind the screen, soaking in all the good things to yourself and not sharing anything that you're learning with other people. And we also have to think about like what's between your ears regarding your IPA. So if you're telling yourself every single day, I can't stand doing my IPA, I'm just going to get this out of the way, like this is the hard stuff, I'm going to do it, your mentality has to change, you guys. You have to think about the gift that you have to give other people, and you also have to tell yourself, like, man, every time that I reach out to someone, that is somebody that is going to be a leader on my team. That's a potential person that's going to be a leader on my team, and we are going to have so much fun in this journey together. But if I never reach out to her, I'm never going to know. So this is fun, getting to know if this is going to be my leader or not. And so it's just really important to change your perspective and your mindset on why you're reaching out to people and what that's going to get you, and start saying, this is awesome. Like, I get to be home every day. However I want to do this job, I can do it. And I get to reach out to people instead of saying, oh, I have to get this done. This is the hard stuff. And that has definitely changed for me. That's how I've been able to bring leaders on board, and how I have so many team members that want this business is because I decided I am not going to be that girl that holds back anymore, and I am going to be actively reaching out and finding my people. And so the one thing that I do want to mention, that within this self-discipline and this hard work and this accountability you're giving yourself, you also have to make it a point to be prayed up, because there is a fine line between fleshly drivenness and a fervent pursuit of what God has in store for you and the blessing that you're chasing after. So God has given you these goals and these things that you need to go and do that He's calling you to, but it shouldn't consume you to the point where the top priority things like your faith and your family have no room in your life. Because what will happen is, as you're doing this hard work and you're falling into that and you get into overkill, you actually get overwhelmed and burn out on what you're doing. So my number one piece of advice, if you're already a hardworking person and you start changing your business and you start putting that hardworking characteristic of yourself into that business, just make sure that it's not the fleshly drivenness doing it, because you will get sick and tired of doing the plexus all the time. You have to have what we call like healthy boundaries. And so just remembering to put God first, I would say, when you're doing that hard work, and remembering that He's got blessings coming for you through this. And I think Brittany's going to talk about consistency in that aspect.
Woo! I'm ready to work now, girl. Awesome. So good. That was really good advice. Thank you for sharing that, Chris. I love your heart on that issue. So Chris is definitely a model for hard work, because she is consistently one of the top recruiters on my team. She is a strong leader, and she has done some amazing personal growth over the past couple of years. Just since I have met her, it has been such a joy to really watch Chris bloom, because I think the hardest part of this business, I think, really is what we have to do, the work we have to do on ourselves. Not necessarily the work that we have to do on our business, because what we do in our business, it's really not hard. We just talk to people about plexus and teach others to do the same, right? That sounds extremely simple. But the work we have to do on ourselves, that's really hard. And if you're willing to do that kind of hard work, then you really can earn yourself financial freedom. I love that quote that says, if you work hard at your job, you can make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. And really, I find that especially in regards to our business, hard work is really just an accumulation of easy things that you didn't do when you should have done them. And that takes me into my point, which is about consistency. Because motivation does get you going, it'll get you started, but discipline is really what is going to make you grow, because motivation really does not last very long, right? You really have to engage in a process. So it really doesn't matter how many opportunities you receive. If you want to grow, you have to be extremely consistent. And again, this applies to every area of your life. It applies to your health journey, your fitness, your finances, your relationships with your marriage, your kids, whatever, and also to your business. And the secret to building motivational momentum is to start small with the simple stuff. Because I find that one of the main reasons people fail is because they try to do too much at the same time. If you just focus on the simple things, really it's a simple business, and Chris and I are actually going to give you actionable steps to take later, and we're going to break down different activities that we do while we are working our Plexus business or during our Plexus day, and we're going to show you which ones are going to make your points go up and which ones cause you to just maintain, or even worse, go backwards if you spend a lot of your time there. But really you just have to master the basics. It's a simple business. You learn how to talk to people about Plexus and get really good at it. And then you learn how to teach other people how to do the same thing and get really good at it. So start small. If you're looking, I remember as a silver ambassador looking at gold thinking, oh my gosh, it was so hard for me to get 3 people. How am I going to get to 20? And then when I was at gold, I was looking at senior gold going, oh my gosh, I have to 2.5 times my team. And then at senior gold, I thought, oh my gosh, I got to double my team to get ruby. If you're looking at that way, then just think about the small things that you have to do consistently over time. When I was going for Emerald, it was literally 2 new contacts every single day that helped me go Emerald. As far as my new contacts were concerned. Now, obviously, I was helping the people that were joining me to duplicate, but I wasn't reaching out to massive amounts of people, but I was reaching out to people every single day in and day out. And so small disciplines repeated with consistency over time are going to create massive results in the long run, right? And that would apply, like, if you've ever heard of the latte factor. Have you guys ever heard of that? Where if you say, like, if you were to just skip a latte every single day, if you were one of those people that go to Starbucks every day, I think it's like $3 or $4 per latte. If you were to skip that every single day, then you would, and invest that money instead of buying your latte, that you would be a millionaire in 40 years. And so it's just, and what's crazy is that the simple things that you need to do to create the massive results over time, they seem very insignificant and small when you're doing them. So it's not that you have to strive and think, oh my gosh, I have to reach out to 200 people this week to create momentum. Really, it's going to be like a compound effect. It's just mastering the simple stuff and just doing the small things consistently. If you wanted to start losing weight and you are, so heavy that your health is so bad you don't even feel like going for a walk, then you just start with small things. Walk to your mailbox a couple times a week. Then you can walk down the street a couple times a week. And before you know it, you're working up to 30-minute walks, hour-long walks, and then you can become a runner, right? So it's just the small things that seem insignificant, but they do add up over time. Oh, I was going to tell you guys, I did a Couch to 5K. So several years ago when I did become a runner, I was super out of shape. I've never been an athlete in my entire life. And I wanted to run. Like, I liked the idea of it. I'd never done it before, but I liked the idea of it. I love being outdoors. And so I got an app called Couch to 5K, and it just worked me up to running a 5K over a period of 8 weeks. It's just assuming you have zero fitness level, and over a period of 8 weeks, it builds you up to running a 5K. Well, every day when I was doing it, I was like, this just seems way too easy. Like, I felt like I could have done way more, but I didn't. And so every day I would just do exactly what the app told me to do. And sure enough, in 8 weeks, I was running 3 miles. And now, last year, I completed a Spartan Sprint and a Spartan Super, which was like 10 miles long and like almost 30 obstacles. So anybody can do that. But it starts with the small things, and everything that's difficult, it gets easy later, right? It's going to feel difficult at first, but like if you're uncomfortable with it, but it does get easy later. So if you feel uncomfortable reaching out to people or following up with people, just practice and get good at it. Watch all the training videos and get good at it. And eventually those things will become easy and you can move on to something else. And also, you will never change your life until you change something that you do daily. I love that quote by John Maxwell. In the end, this is another one by John Maxwell, people do not decide their future. They decide their habits, and their habits will determine their future. So it's really, your success is going to be found in your daily habits. So what are you doing daily to help your business grow and help your points go up? And we're going to, again, in a few minutes, Chris has one more thing she wants to share with you, but we're going to share with you guys what you need to be doing that are going to create good habits in your business that are going to cause your points to rise. All right, Chris, now you can talk to us about grit. You need me to unmute you? Okay, hang on, let me find you. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Well, one thing I want to mention, kind of following up with the consistency, it makes me think of when we're a mom and we have laundry, which all of us moms have laundry. If you wait until the end of the month to do all of your laundry, how much harder is it to get it done? But if we would just be disciplined, right, have that hard work ethic, to do the small thing, 1 load or 2 loads a day, and get it washed, dried, folded, put away, just put a little elbow grease in every day, how much easier is that on our elbows than if we were to wait until the end of the month to get it all done? And I think that our business is the same, just like you said, those small breakdowns. And that analogy just kind of clicked for me as you were saying that, because I remember as a kid, my parents trying to teach me that. And I did a lot of the chores around the house. And I will tell you, it was always harder when I didn't do the small daily disciplines consistently, because I had a mountain of responsibility ahead of me when I didn't do that. And I find that to be true in my business also. And so I'm going to talk to you guys about grit, and I think those really tie into the hard work and the consistency. And I will say that's something I feel like have been my strong suits throughout the last 2.5 years in my business, that I have consistently worked hard and I've consistently worked my business. But there was a season where in my business, I started having a lot of self-doubts, and it was a major setback for me. It was about like a 3 or 4 month setback in my business where things were really slowing down. I really wasn't doing all the things besides like sitting and watching the videos. I was appearing as if I was active, but internally I had, like that mind war going on that we have, because our flesh is tricky and our Satan is cunning and he feeds lies to us. So like I said, we got to work on like what's between our ears, but we all get to that place in our business where we just feel like we can't go any further. Like this problem is too big for me. This drama is more than I can handle, because let's face it, a lot of us are women. When you get women together with women, there's drama. When you get a task that seems overwhelming to you, you don't want to face it a lot of the time. And what we just have to keep in mind is the people that made it to Jewel and made it to Diamond, they were the people that were willing to press on past that. And if we can just follow their example and repeat that pattern and that behavior every time we want to, just lay on the ground when we fall down and get knocked down, it's always better for us to just get up and wipe the dust off and just keep going and let that be like a learning experience. But we just have to remember that when we have that mindset happening and we're in that season of self-doubt, or we lack belief in the products or the opportunity, usually it's ourself when it holds us back, I find. but sometimes we can default on the other things. And so we just have to keep remembering that we have to analyze situations as they happen. We have to figure out how to improve the next time. Because if we don't, what's going to end up happening is we're going to get knocked down and knocked down and knocked down over and over again to the point where we just quit. Like, we literally quit. But even the diamonds have moments where they want to quit. That's nothing new. It's completely normal. We all have those thoughts. But the point is that when we feel like we want to quit, that we don't continue living in insanity. So the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting different results. And that can't happen. If you want to have grit, you have to pick yourself up and think, okay, what did I do wrong in this situation? Or what could I have done better in this situation? And let's move forward from here. Let's take a lesson away from this. Fail forward is the best way to describe that, I think. And that's all I had for grit. Pretty simple.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to add that grit, it's really just, it means just not giving up. You know, there's going to be obstacles, you will have challenges, but really this business or just any process of growth, and again, this applies to any area of your life, not just business, but you should always be engaging in a process of analyzing and improving. Like, if you notice an area in your business where it's not, you know, up to par, or you need to grow in that area of your business, then you should figure out what that area is. Whether it be, you know, it could be attrition. It could be people not coming in with subscriptions on. It could be you're not duplicating. You don't have any people go in silver on your first level. Like, whatever the case may be, figure out what do you not see enough of that you know are important, is important for the growth of your business. And then you go into hyper-focus mode on that issue. Like, you watch every training video you can get your hands on that issue, and you fix that issue, and then you move on to the next thing, right? It's just always engaging in that process, analyzing, improving, analyzing, improving. And if you're not taking time to reflect or really think about what could be holding you back in your business, then you're going to be engaging in the other process that Chris described, and we call that insanity, right? Doing the same things over and over and expecting different results. It ain't going to happen. So always be trying to figure out how you can grow and improve. All right, so let's talk about activities in our Plexus business. As we work through our Plexus day, there's lots of different activities that we engage in. Some of the activities are going to cause a point gain. Some of them are going to cause our points to stay the same or go backwards. And so we have to be super strategic about how we spend our time. We only have so many hours in a day. Time is the most valuable resource that you have. Money comes and goes, right? Time, you can never get it back. You cannot earn yourself more time, okay? So you have to be super strategic and effective with the way you spend your time. And there are really only a few things in this business that are going to actually make you money. So Chris, tell us what those are. Let's just go down the list that we made about things that actually grow your business and cause you to go up in points. Oh, hold on, you're muted. Okay, there you go.
Okay. So the first one being obviously our personal business, our IPA, reaching out to new contacts, super, super important. And it's really important within reaching out to our contacts that our intent is to always get them in front of a presentation, inviting them to something. And that just basically means that they're going to hear about the products and the opportunity. The whole point behind doing your IPA is getting the things to the people. So that's number one.
Mm-hmm. The next one is three-way calls. I like three-way calls better than three-way chats, to be quite honest with you, because every single time I get on a three-way call, it is income producing for me. Every time I'm in a three-way chat, it is not necessarily income producing. Sometimes chats can get chatty, right? For lack of a better word. Sometimes we just have a little bit too much fun in chats. And I feel like they can be time suckers if not used correctly. And so I love three-way calls. They're always income producing for me. And so I think they're super duper effective. If I spend time doing one thing in my business that I know is going to give me the greatest return, it would be a three-way call. Because I'm not just helping myself, I'm also helping my team, and also working on my personal business.
Yes, totally agree. I mean, that is definitely how I have built my entire business, is on three-way calls. And then the next thing would basically be, we don't need to be stuck in management mode, anything like that, but there are certain things that we need to micromanage, and that thing would be knowing what's going on in your virtual office. So making sure everybody's coming in with their welcome pack and subscriptions on, checking that at least like once a week. You don't have to stay in there. You don't need to focus in there. Track your points so you can figure out, okay, did I grow this month? Am I further behind than I was last month? And kind of just do that whole analyzation thing we were talking about. Checking your commission, same thing, kind of tracking exactly where you were last month compared to this month, where you're going next month, so that you can really hone in and focus on what kind of IPA you need to be doing. And then also looking at how many people have the opportunity to go silver this month. So we should be focusing on the power of 3. Every month we should be looking at our new people that were at least open to the idea of the business, getting them on the phone. And the only way we can really easily keep track of that is making sure we know who is ordering in our back office. It doesn't matter what level, but if somebody's new, they have that opportunity to hit silver, and we need to make sure someone is letting them know that.
Yeah, good stuff. I think that how many people a person has going silver is probably the strongest indicator of how fast their business is growing. How many people do they have going silver? That's so important. So those are things, like I mentioned earlier, that you should be analyzing and improving. Like if you're in your virtual office and you're checking on those things, and you notice, hey, I only have 25% of people coming in with subscriptions on. This is a problem. How do I fix it? And then you go and figure out how to fix it. Okay. Or you don't have enough people going silver, same process. Go figure out how to fix it. We have all of the training and all of the resources that you need to fix any issue, right? Because at this point, we've dealt with all the problems. There's nothing new under the sun, okay? Okay, so training newbies. This is another biggie because it's fun to coach our team. Like, it really is. But the most important people to train are the ones that are just getting started. Anybody who has joined you in the last 6 months or less, those are people that you really should be investing time in and getting them off to a strong start.
Yes. And then the next step is posting on our social media. We want people to know what we're doing, but we also don't want them to think all we do is sell Plexus. So letting them kind of get a peek into our life, even if it's the highlight reel. Sometimes people want to be more real than that and share all the things, but just making sure you have a healthy balance of Plexus in your newsfeed so that people are on your timeline, so that people are seeing that in their news feeds and they can follow your journey, because again, consistency is key there. If people can see you're consistently doing this, they know that this is the real deal for you. And when they decide to make that Plexus decision, it's going to make it easier for them to come towards you and take you seriously.
Taking care of, learning something. That was mine. So you should definitely be learning something every single day, whether it's something about the products or something about how to be a better recruiter or something about how to prevent attrition, or whatever the case may be. There's no excuses now. We have these amazing training groups where every single one of our favorite videos are all compiled into one resource. And so I am literally going and working through one category at a time. But you always have to be feeding your mind and getting really good at what we do, because this is not a lottery ticket, right? It's a business, and you have to learn how to do it. Most of us are not naturals at this. Most of us don't just sign up and go to diamond within a year. Most people don't. Some people have. But for most of us, we have to learn a lot of skills. And if you're not engaging in that learning process, then what's that process called again? You're engaging in one process or another, right? Either you are growing and improving, or you're doing the same things over and over and expecting different results. So training is non-negotiable. Like, you should always, always be trying to get better and improve at this profession.
Yes, totally agree. There is no such thing as getting lucky in this business opportunity. It is a lot of hard work, and that is just, I feel like when I share Plexus with people, they see the tip of the iceberg. But another thing that's really important is taking care of your product users. So a lot of us have wholesale customers or preferred or retail customers, but it's really, really, really important. And statistics will show us people that we're intentional to take care of instead of getting them on the products and then just dropping them. We need to be helping them through their detox. We need to be celebrating those small victories, and detox included is a small victory in the step of getting back to healthy. So making sure our people are getting into a good routine with their products, making sure that they know we're here to support them when they go through the hard things as their body is cleaning out toxins and all of that. So just basically, like if you would want somebody to take the best care of your family, you should expect the same out of yourself taking care of your customers.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. So those are the basic list of things that you need to be doing and focusing your time on to make your business go up in points. And then the other list, things that are going to cause you to maintain versus, maintain or even worse, lose. So first of all, three ways that are non-IPA, non-income producing. So I already mentioned that earlier, so I'm not going to hang out there. But don't be spending tons of time, chatting with your PFFs, which is super fun to do because we really do have a lot of fun in this business. But those people are already on Plexus. You got to go find the ones that don't know about it yet.
Yes, and then scrolling Facebook and Instagram, we like to call that waste booking, is definitely not income producing. It's actually, I feel like that is a way Satan gets a foothold to steal our blessings. And what God has for us. So it keeps us from being productive and doing the hard work. And it's really, really easy to get sucked into. So we got to be careful and on our guard for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, excessive back office checking. So we do want you in your back office. It's really important to be aware of what's happening in your business. But refreshing your convention contest report over and over and over throughout the day, or, just making it an excessive thing. Obviously, if your business is growing really fast, it's fun to be in your back office, but don't spend a lot of time there. You do need to spend some time there, because if you don't, then you're probably going to miss some things that are important, but you can't spend an excessive amount of time there because it's not income producing.
Right. And then another thing I would say is letting your funnel get clogged with prospects that are getting you nowhere. If there's someone that you keep reaching out and keep reaching out and keep reaching out, and they're continuing to ignore your messages, start engaging on their Facebook timeline if that's what you feel you need to do. But most of the time, it's just not the right timing for them. They're not open and receptive. They don't have enough information yet. They're probably still watching you. So move on to people that are going to keep your funnel moving. You don't want to get that clogged up. Like a whole thing for us Plexus people, right, is preventing people being clogged up. And it should be the same in your business. So don't spend a lot of time on people that aren't worth your time at this point in time.
Yeah, because they will join you at some point. But Romy says, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Like, don't be dependent on somebody to join. They're not ready to join you. You should be talking to so many people that you have to remind yourself to think about the ones who are not ready yet. Okay, that's how many people you need to be talking to. And then, which messages you answer first. So if you say you have 30 seconds and you're going to pop on Messenger and just have a peek, and there's 4 messages sitting there, 3 of them are from your team, 1 is from a prospect, which one are you going to answer first? If you answer the ones from your team first, guess what that's called? Management mode. You want to answer the ones from your prospects first, right? Your team can wait a little while, but you have to focus on your own personal business. That is the most important part.
Yes, I agree. And you create self-sufficient leaders when you make them wait a little while, because they might get anxious in their waiting. They're like, okay, I need to figure out this information. I need to find out what I need to do to help this person. And they end up learning and growing. So I actually love doing that sometimes. Okay, and then the next one is, and I feel like this is so, so important, stay in your own lane. If you are focused on the grass growing on the other side of the fence, you're not going to be watering yours. You're not going to see the blessings of the little garden that God is growing on your side. So stop focusing on what she has and what she's doing and how much better she is. I love in the Mind Wars study that Kristen Abart's mom always told her when she would come home and complain that somebody looked better or they had something wrong on their body or whatever, that her mom would say, yeah, you're right. You know what? Maybe she is prettier, maybe she is smarter, but you have this and you have that. So start focusing on your strengths and on what you're doing. Stay in your lane, because going off of your lane is never going to get you in the right direction. It's not going to produce that income.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Okay, and then the last thing, guys, and Chris already touched on this, but if you're not taking good care of your people, if you're just signing people up, but you're not doing the 4 touches in the first 30 days and making sure that they're getting great results on their products and making sure that they're drinking their water and being taken care of, then you are going to go backwards in your business. You're going to feel like you're spinning your wheels, that you're working really hard to sign people up and nobody's sticking around because you're not providing great customer service. So you have to be not just a good recruiter, but also a good sponsor, right? You have to provide good customer service and take good care of your people. All right, so we will close with this verse from Proverbs. And it goes back to consistency. Whoever gathers little by little will increase wealth. So just know that it's the hard work, the consistency, the grit, and all of the things that we talked about tonight, all the activities that are going to cause your business to go up in points month after month, and you're going to consistently grow. So engage in that process, and we'll see you at Diamond, right? All right. Well, good night, everybody. That's all we have. See you next week.